Welcome to the Tech Sharmit podcast, where technology is not just news, but the roadmap to the future. This is a space where we explore the latest tech trends, AI, startups, gadgets, and the ideas that redefine the way we think. Leading this conversation is Amit Sharma, globally recognized as Tech Sharmit. A technologist from Bharat, Amit brings an Indian perspective to the global technology landscape. With deep technical expertise and strong industry insight, and for his contributions and impact within the global tech community, he has been recognized with several prestigious honors, including Google Developer Expert, Microsoft MVP, IBM Champion, and Planet Mainframe Influencer. Through this podcast, he shares practical knowledge, real-world perspectives, and globally relevant thinking designed to help you stay ahead in an ever-evolving technology landscape. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the Tech Sharmit channel to stay updated with future episodes. And if you're looking to level up your skills, don't forget to explore the Tech Sharmit digital course book in the description box, where you'll find thousands of free programming courses curated to help you grow as a developer. So plug in your headphones and join us as we begin today's episode of the Tech Sharmit podcast.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Tech Sharmit podcast. Today I'm joined by another very special guest, Ville Gullstrand, who is joining us all the way from Sweden. If I talk about Ville, then he is a senior cloud architect at CloudWay, a Microsoft data platform MVP, and a FastTrack Recognized Solution Architect. His journey combines deep expertise in cloud and data platforms with a powerful belief in inspiring people before instructing them. So today's episode, we are going to talk about modern cloud architecture mindset, leadership through inspiration, misconceptions around the cloud and data platform. But before we get started into all of this, I would like to thank Ville for joining us today in this episode. And now I request you to please initiate the discussion by telling us a bit about yourself.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's an honor. So my name is, as you said, Ville Gullstrand. I'm a data platform MVP. I just have a very big passion for Power BI, and I tend to say, that I inspire people to embrace the potential of today. I think that kind of resonates who I am and what I stand for. So that would be my very short introduction. That is who I am. I'm a Power BI guy.
Okay.
Who
All
typically tries to inspire people.
Yeah, so Ville, like those who are around you, they know you for your technical expertise and also for the accolades that you have earned with your passion. So, uh,
and perhaps the stubbornness, which is a good thing and a bad thing. It's
yes, it is.
if we have the same goal, it's a perfect thing. Like I'll move mountains, and you just follow behind. If we don't have the same goal, I am probably a bit of a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I'm afraid.
Yes, I really like the
Yep.
honest and real feedback.
Yep. It is what it is, right?
Yes, it is what it is. Okay, so let's move ahead. So, well, like, how do you usually introduce yourself when you want people to feel what you stand for, not just
Mhm.
known your title, but beyond the LinkedIn titles?
Mm.
How do you introduce yourself?
So, well, obviously with my name, right? And that I love Power BI, and I have a big passion for that. But if I want people to really feel what I stand for in general, I do try to go with, inspiring people to embrace the potential of today.
Okay.
I do have a big, because it's so leveled. You can bring it into professional environments, and then it means technology typically, or processes, and how the way I work with trying to inspiring people to the why before the how. That's the inspirational part of it, and the potential could be anything, right? It could be the latest thing you can do in Power BI, or it could be that you're doing something manually today that could have been automated, even if that automation came along 10 years ago. Like if you're not using it, and there's a potential to do it, and it's available today. Now, I did blatantly steal that. Well, not steal that. I kind of copied it and made it my own. I'll circle back to what all of that means further along too. But I used to work at a company called Altitude 365, and we had a week-long kickoff or kickoff, kind of like a kickoff, where we, in part, try to find a good why for the company as a whole, for the organization, for like us to come together around. And together we came up with that phrase, and we used that for a while. And then, because of mergers and whatnot, it evaporated. It went into something else. But it stuck with me. I really felt that resonating with me. We broke it down in so many pieces, like the today part. It is important because we're not, a lot of people, they talk about the potential of tomorrow, or like, yeah, let's talk about the change for tomorrow. And I'm like, tomorrow doesn't exist yet. Tomorrow is tomorrow. So I prefer to focus on what is real and what we can do here and now. And things in development, that's great, that's cool, that's awesome, but it's not here. It's not available today. So we don't have to like focus on building upon that technology. It doesn't exist yet. And potential could be anything, right? As I said, it could be a process, it could be technology, it could be a formula, it could be a big thing, it could be a small thing. And the embrace part, that's really where my mindset comes into the whole why and how, the inspiring part. I want people to feel for whatever we are talking about. I want them to be motivated from the inside, and I'll circle back to this a little bit later. But yeah, I want people to embrace it so that they make the cause their own. Just like I have, taken this motto, if you will, and made it my own. So it's not that someone forced me and said, yeah, you have to go ahead and do this. Like this is what you believe in now. And I think that's also something that I typically tell people when I want them to understand and feel what I stand for, is that I rarely do business with people who need what I'm selling. I am doing business with people who believe what I believe, which is also stolen from Simon Sinek. And it kind of proves the point. You see, he says it. He says you should work with people who believe what you believe, and that just makes things so much easier. And when he said that, it resonated with me. So I took that and I made that my own. Right? I took that to heart and I embraced that. So now I feel like, yeah, you know what? This applies to me. This applies to my experience, my world, and this works. So I'll take that and I'll make that my own. Not because he said it, not because he wants me to do that, but because I want to do that, and he just put words on it. So I work with people who believe what I believe, and that way we typically form partnerships instead of supplier and customer relationships.
Okay. So Ville,
A long way to introduce myself.
yeah, but it is needed because we wanted to know about you. So, Ville, you just shared one great solution for all those person who are facing the issues of overthinking. Because you just mentioned that instead of thinking much about the future, start from where you are and what you have. And if someone follow this
Yes.
kind of mindset and this kind of pattern, I'm 100% sure they will not face the issues of overthinking, because now you know that
Yes.
this is the right time to start what you have from the same time where you are thinking about the thing. So instead of planning the future, let's just start from where we are and what we have. So that's a great thing that you just shared with the audience. Okay, so moving ahead, let's talk a bit about your other identity, because you also mentioned that you are in the IT industry. You are known as a person who inspire people to embrace their potential. So I just wanted to
Mm-hmm.
know, like, was there any particular turning point in your life when you started inspiring people to embrace their potential, and how it all gets started?
Right. Yeah. So there's definitely a very clear turning point, and it was in April 2016. So it's almost exactly 10 years ago,
Yeah.
and it was when I stopped working internal IT. We're focusing on operations and service desk work and that sort of maintenance, and I started as a cloud consultant with
Okay.
Altitude 365 in this case, because that really opened up my eyes to a whole new world, the cloud era, the cloud world. And I went from kind of keeping the lights on. And a good project is when people didn't notice you. That's like if you did a migration on-prem, the best results you could get is that nobody noticed. And like that's so boring. It's not impactful in any way. And you focus so much of your time to sustain things, to sustain technology. You have patch Tuesdays, you have to do backups, you have to go in and make small changes to the system that nobody will see and nobody should see.
Correct.
And you went from that into someone else is just doing that and it just works. And you can just focus on using it, leveraging it to your advantage to really, adopt it, if you will. I worked a lot with adoption. I worked a lot with inspiring people to embrace Teams, OneDrive, OneNote, all the SaaS services, and how they can actually benefit from those services. That's where I came into this. It's not necessarily from Power BI actually, but all the cloud services. And I love that whole shift in you don't have to spend so much time tending to the technology. That is just bread and butter. It just exists, and you can focus on the value that it will bring. So I think that's when I really felt like I can start inspiring people to embrace the potential, like spend less time on just sustain the technology and focus more on the people.
Okay.
But of course, it's it's increased, of course, in time and resources and effort since then, because then I started off, I knew this much. I started off and cloud services was much smaller than today.
Correct. Okay. So while inspiring the people, you often emphasize inspire before the instruct.
Yeah.
So how do you believe that
Yes.
the why must come before the how? What is your mindset behind this?
Right. So this is a cornerstone in my belief system, if you will. I believe that inspired people find inner motivation and they do things for themselves, not because an external factor has told them so.
Mm-hmm.
As in, let's say I stand before a group and I tell them, today we're going to review how you can build this cost analysis report. Then you click here, then you click here, and then you click here. And if we do this, we're going to see the cost compared to the budget. Yeah, perfect. Like maybe I've reached one or two people in that group because they already knew that this is what they wanted. So, not very inspiring. We're not going to get very far. And I started with the how. If I instead tell the story about how a lot of people maybe that I've met in the past, in my experience, they've struggled so much with all these calculations that they have to spend so much time on. They have to prepare data for other people. Like that takes up so much of their time. And people still don't get it, and we still miss the mark. And what if we could instead spend more time just divulging the data, the actual insights? Everything's just pre-calculated, and you can just focus on the people behind it. Now, hopefully that'll resonate with a bunch of people in the audience, and they will be like, wait a minute, that's me. He's talking about me. Like I am that person. I am spending a lot of time preparing data, which I wouldn't like to do. I would like to spend that time just diving into the data and not preparing it. And so they can see a value for themselves. And that is what I mean by inspiring people, so that the motivation comes from the inside.
Correct.
You cannot tell them stories. Yeah, right. You do storytelling so that people find their own way, if that makes sense. And it's not like you force them, like this is why you should do this. You should understand this, and now that you are inspired, we should go. Like that's not how it works. You can't force someone to say that this is the why. This is why we do this, and this should be your why. That's not how it works. You tell a story that is why I would do this. And if it resonates with you, then that could be your why as well. You're going to take that and make that your own, which also means, in a little bit of an abstract way, that in the audience here of, let's say, 10 people, maybe only 7 will actually be inspired because the other 3 this doesn't resonate with them. They don't care. And so you haven't inspired those. So that's also why it's important to kind of come in from many different angles and tell a lot of different stories and try to inspire in different ways so that you pinpoint everyone. But again, it goes back to work with people who believe what you believe. Maybe those 3 people or 2 people that are
Right.
left in the group, they weren't inspired, and maybe this isn't for them. Like they will be inspired by other things. They will have motivations for other things, and they will strive towards those things, and that's
Mhm.
okay, right? And not everyone needs to do everything. But
Yeah.
yeah, the kind of core of it is that I want I want people to learn the things I'm teaching because they want to learn it. And the motivation comes from within them. So they strive towards it. Otherwise, any question they might ask is kind of forced, right?
Right.
I want them to actually want to, yeah, I want them to actually want to know why they should do something. Or like, okay, so how do I do that? Where's the button? How do I do that? Why does this happen instead of that? You know, if you're inspired, if you're motivated from the inside, you want to know that the
Correct.
answer to those questions.
Yeah, and I'm also agree that this is exactly what the real leaders do, because you are not forcing something to your team. You are just helping them to figure out why and how, instead of creating the complex things for them to adopt the technology or maybe the project on which they are working. So that's a great thing
Yeah,
about leaders. Okay.
yeah, and I believe that we as people we tend to need the why. We need to understand why we're doing things
Yes.
in different extents, of course. But I am definitely a person that question authorities. I question why I have to do things, and if I understand why I want to do, why I need to do some things, and I also agree with it, then I'll just plow on, right? I'll just do what it takes because I truly believe in why we're doing this.
Correct.
But if I have a vague understanding of it, then it that's going to impact the results for sure. And if I don't understand why we're doing something, I don't see the bigger picture. If I just tell, if you tell someone, do this calculation, they're going to do that calculation, but they don't understand why. And they're like, oh my God, why did you do it like this? Like, why didn't you question this? You knew that this was going to be wrong. But like there's this great story about two bricklayers, brick builders, and they're building a wall, right? And they're out, it's scorching heat, and they're laying bricks. They're building a cathedral,
Okay.
and this is a huge project. So it's gonna be going on for years. Probably they won't even see the finished result. And one of the persons, you ask them, what are you doing? And he says, I'm a bricklayer. Like I put this brick on top of the other bricks, and then I put this brick, and then that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm building this wall, as you can see. It's scouring heat. Won't even see the project finish. You know, not very motivated. You ask the other person, what are you doing? And he says, I am building a cathedral. Like,
Okay.
sure, I am just building this brick wall. I'm just putting bricks on bricks, but I'm building a cathedral. I am part of something bigger. And
Correct.
it's scorching heat. And it's really hard work. And I might not even be alive to see this completed, but I am building a cathedral. Now you can imagine if one of these people realizes that, you know what, at this pace, we're gonna miss the window size when in like 3 weeks. We're gonna be slightly off the angles or something. One
Mhm.
of them is just a bricklayer, like not my job. I don't care. I lay bricks. That's the architect's fault, right? But the other one is building a cathedral. It's about the bigger picture. So he's
Correct.
gonna say something. He's gonna say, you know what? This is not gonna work. This is not gonna fit. It might even be more work for me. But at the end of the day, we're not building a wall. We're building a cathedral. So I think that's why it's important.
Yeah, and I think this is the best story or example you just shared, and I'm sure people will relate this because doesn't matter like they will understand the overall discussion what we are doing here, but this story will for sure stuck in their mind and they will relate it easily because it clears the overall scenario like why it is important to understand the bigger picture, not the smaller task that you are
Yeah,
doing. So thanks for sharing this great
exactly.
example with the audience. Okay, so moving ahead, let's talk about one more thing. Although, like you have earlier mentioned, that you work with the people that believe in what you believe, right?
Mm,
So we can overall
Mhm.
conclude that you don't work with organization, you work with the people. So, Ville, like, how does this mindset change the way you approach towards the leadership as well as the architecture?
I think it kind of boils down to one thing, and that is accountability. Because
Gotcha.
you can't have a fussy group accountable for something. Leadership wants this. Okay, so then what if leadership fails? What if we didn't get there? Like, is that leadership's fault? And who is that person? Like, who do I talk to actually get things done? And I think that I've never ever gone into an organization or a project, and even if they initially say that the organization wants this, you always are able to pinpoint those persons, the people that well wants this, and they are the kind of amplifiers of that voice, the people that are saying this and spreading that idea. And those are the people you want to pinpoint. Just like I want to pinpoint the sponsor for the project, say that you believe what I believe, right? So
Yeah.
we are in a partnership on this. Let's drive towards this goal. You also want to find the recipients. You are the one who's going to actually review the reports that I'm building, for example. On a personal level, it doesn't matter that finance is the recipients. Finance is a group that's abstract, that doesn't hold accountability. If I just provide to finance a report and then I get a response from a no-name group that, yeah, it's not good or it's not showing what we expected, like I have no idea what to expect. I need another person to communicate to so that we can get down to the goalpost. So yeah, I don't work with organizations, I work with people, and people make up organizations, but you can pinpoint those exact people and persons that you want to work with. And I think that the way that mindset approaches leadership really boils down to accountability.
Okay.
Like, yeah, you get someone to talk to. This person said that. That's why we're doing it. It's not. I got the general idea that finance wanted this. It is Peter at finance or Anna at finance. We had this discussion. We came up to this conclusion. We did this. So then you have something concrete to work with, and I think that also helps with architecture. You don't paint yourself into a corner the same way, because communications is hard, right? That is, I think, 90% of projects fail because of communications.
Communication,
You
yes.
Yeah, you had expectations, they failed. I thought that I understood that okay, here's an example. I think the problem with communication is not when you misunderstand. The
Mhm.
problem is when you thought you understood, but you misunderstood.
Correct.
Because if you say something and I clearly couldn't hear what you're saying, I don't understand the words, I don't get what you're saying, I'm push them and say, I mean, what does that mean? Can you explain
Mm.
that to me in a different way? Can you paraphrase? Well, sorry, can I paraphrase and you can validate that I understood? But if I think I understood what you said, I'm not going to question that. I'm going to know exactly what I'm going to do now, and I'm going to go ahead and do it. And if
That
I
is a good one.
misunderstood that, yeah, I'm going to go out. Yeah, right. I'm going to go out and build like a red car, and you clearly specified a blue truck. And I thought, oh, to me, that was just a vehicle, right? So I think the biggest issue is when you think you understand, but you actually don't. And in my world, it helps if you kind of make it a bit more concrete. One way of doing that is going down from the fussy group, us versus them, into me and you, people
Correct.
communicating instead.
Okay. All right. So now we'll talk about your other role, that as a senior cloud architect, what's the biggest mindset shift you believe modern architect must make today in 2026? As a senior
Mhm.
cloud architect, how do you look towards this mindset shift?
This is going to be an interesting question, and I'm interested in seeing if you agree with me on this or if you feel in a completely different way.
Okay.
So I think that one really big shift is we need to shift away from this grand solution to rule them all kind of mindset, where previously you'd implement a software or a system, let's say, and it took you years to do it. And in all fairness, even back in the days, I don't think I've ever seen a completely successful, integration of such a system or implementation of such a system. But even less so today. Like if a project is lasting 2 years to implement, imagine the shift in technology from start to finish.
Yeah.
The things potential of today that you have right now is going to be really different from the potential you have in 2 years when you're finally done with it. And I'm not saying, throw out all the big systems, don't do any grand things. That is not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is maybe don't do every single customization. Don't try to tailor it completely to your organization. Like there's a mindset behind the architecture of whatever system you have selected. And maybe follow along a little bit in those processes and do, instead of getting the system to work with the way you work, maybe also find a balance in shifting the way you work a little bit towards the system that you're selecting. So you can go ahead more with the default settings. You can go a little bit more ahead with the way it is intended to work, because that means you can now better use official documentation and support and community, and you work in many ways the same way as many other people. And also when you onboard new people, they can bring their experience from other companies, maybe using the same softwares, the same solutions, and they can apply those skills. So you don't have to spend as much training on saying, yeah, I know that you've been using CRM before, but we are using CRM in a completely different way. So now just throw out everything you knew and relearn from the beginning. So I think that gives us a little bit more success, because it also means that if we have those grand solutions in place and we spend a little less time customizing everything within them, then we can kind of add on to the sides of them. We can integrate, we can build on that as time progresses. A little bit maybe more agile methods, if you will, like instead of that whole let's build for a long time and then we'll get value. Instead, if we can get some value as we go along, I think that will help a lot. If we look back, it was more like we had this Exchange version on-prem, and we're going to spend 6 months upgrading to another version and do this project. Maybe not for Exchange, but you kind of catch my drift, that you spend a lot of time doing the upgrade and you've spent a lot of time and money and resources. Nothing has happened until the go live date. That's when you suddenly get all the new features and all the new whatnots, and now you can actually start to achieve the value of it. But up until that time, it's just been a cost. With cloud services, it is a constant stream of updates. So you get new updates a little bit all the time, and working agile towards those and taking on some of those new updates and benefits, if you will, they can value you over time. So it's more about adapting it and starting to use it, and maybe implementing small pieces at a time. Like in my area, to get a bit more concrete, people have often talked about these large warehouses, data warehouses. You want to collect everything in one place. The whole organization's data should go into this place. Like, it doesn't matter what it is, everything in here. There's a huge data warehouse, the data lakes, the whatnot. And then we share the information from there. That's where we build the reports. That's where like everything happens.
Correct.
And I think that many times it becomes too big. We just spend time ingesting the data, and we don't actually have time to provide the valuable information to the end users. And with Fabric, for example, the ability to build smaller islands, silos, if you will, sure, but if they can provide value in a shorter time to a certain group of people, then that's great. And if we have 2 different islands and silos, and they both were very quick, easy to build, cost efficient and they bring value to two different people, but then we see a value in merging them, we can still do that, right? But it has been given value up until that point, and now we spend some more time merging it, and now it brings even more value. And we get value along the way, instead of saying, you know what, yeah, we should build something for that group, and we should build something for that group, but it would even be better if we built it together, right? And now we're gonna, spend a project doing that for 1 year, and none of the groups have access to any data until we are done working. So maybe a little less one grand solution to rule them all mindset, and a little bit more agile methods, and you take bits and pieces. But I'm very curious to see how you feel about that whole shift in mindset, and if you believe that taking these small bits and pieces together is valuable compared to having one thing to rule them all.
Yeah, I think we are on the same page here, because I also believe that keeping the things smaller into smaller chunks can help them to understand the problem in a better way, and that in that way only, like, we can build a solution that could benefit not only the person individually but the organization as well. So I think we are on the same page here.
Mm?
Okay, so Ville, although like there are so many things that we can discuss here, but we are short on time.
We need to speed up.
Yeah, we are short on time, so we just wanted to take a couple of questions more before we wrap up.
Yeah.
So first, one question I would like to take on misconception. So what's the one misconception people have about cloud data platform or power platform that you love to debunk here?
All right. So I think, trying to keep it a little bit shorter, but I think that the phrase "there's so much you need to keep up with" is a good thing to debunk. Like, yes, the services is evergreen. It's updating all the time. Every week there's tons of updates coming, and if you want to keep on top of everything, you have your work cut out for you. And yeah, that's gonna be a handful. And the thing is, by the end of the day, it's 2026, and we still use Excel, and people still write notes on paper or in Word, and they're not using the all of these cool features and tools and things, and the world hasn't stopped working still, right? So maybe we don't need to keep up with all of these things. And I think that you said it before in the beginning. If we can focus on what's available today, we don't have to open up our minds to everything imaginable in the future. And it's kind of and I think it's kind of the same here as well. That maybe some people get scared of all the abilities you can do and everything new that is always coming, and it kind of gets so exhausting that you don't do anything. And I think that just start with one small thing. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to keep up to date with all of the news.
Perfect.
Excel will still work tomorrow as well. You can still work your notes on paper. You don't have to shift to AI or loop components or OneNote or integrations throughout systems or whatnot. But you can take some pieces and try that one thing at a time.
Correct. Okay. All right. So now one question which is related to the support system, because as an expert, you have touched so many lives of the students or the professional with whom you are working. But I just wanted to know, throughout your journey, who were the key people around you that had a defining impact on your journey so far?
So obviously my wife, because she's always supportive. She's if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be able to do the things I'm doing. I wouldn't be able to travel. I wouldn't be able to spend so much time on this. So a huge shout out to her for supporting this entire career and journey. And apart from that, from a more professional point of view, I think one of the big turning points was a person called Magnus Johansson, who was the person who hired me for Altitude 365. And we've since become really good friends. And he is one of those people that sees you, if you know what I mean. Some people can look, he sees. Some people can listen, he hears. If you catch what I mean. So he kind of he sees people and what drives people, and he is very good at inspiring people to have fun and give them a lot of energy.
Correct.
And he founded that company together with two other people, Magnus Björk and Tommy Clark. And I would say Tommy Clark is also one of those really impactful people, but from the perspective of never never it's never enough, if you know what I mean. Like, yes, this was good. Now, how can we do even better? And he is maybe someone who lives a little bit in the future. Like he can very often predict where we're going and what to focus on. But I think having a person like that, having those two combined, that has helped me immensely. One of them always constantly providing new inspiration and motivation and energy, more from the warmth perspective, and one of them always pushing to learn more, to understand more. And I remember very clearly when I started, like, first of all, when I was, before I joined Altitude, Magnus posted a picture on Facebook, and
Okay.
it was a picture where he was playing a video game. That's it. And the car in the video game, he had the company logo on the car. I had never seen something like this before. I was like, this person wants the world to know that he works in that workspace. Personally, like, nobody's forcing him to have a company logo on a virtual car in a game, but he
Correct.
wants that because he wants the world to see that this is who I am. This is where I work. Like, this is the kind of people I involve myself with. And I was like, I want that. Like, that is because at that time I would never had put my company label, my employer, right? They had nothing to do with who I was, and I wanted that shift. I wanted to work in a place where I wanted to tell the world that, like, I work at this place, right?